food sovereignty. It's the right to have healthy, culturally appropriate food created in ethical and sustainable methods. And it's something Indigenous communities have been fighting for since colonization. Today, we talk with the Nottawasepi Huron Band of the Potawatomi, who are working to move that needle forward. Well, it is great to see you again, and thank you so much for joining us here on Mutually Inclusive. Today's show is going to look a little different. We are so excited to have special guests in the studio from the Nottawasepi Huron Band of the Potawatomi. They are Tribal Council Vice Chair Dorie Rios and Food Sovereignty Coordinator Nickole. So thank you both, lovely ladies, for being in today. How's it going?
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well, we wanted to have you in because of the amazing work that you're doing with food sovereignty. We heard just a little bit ago a very basic definition of that, but I'm interested in hearing your own definition of food sovereignty, especially as it relates to the Indigenous community.
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm learning every single day.
Yeah.
From this beginning of doing this, I was kind of focused on what we do have, and what we do have is our wild rice and our maple syrup. But it's so much more than that, and it's bringing back those ceremonies and us educating our members on what we did lose and learning how to harvest and hunt and fish and gather and collect our seeds. Mm-hmm. It's, like I said, it's every day. Every day there's a new gift that's present.
Absolutely, and I appreciate your answer saying you're still learning every day, because aren't we all? What has been some of the most rewarding things that you've learned throughout this process? I'd love to hear from both of you.
I believe the participation rate has been really overwhelming. Practicing some of our old ways, reintroducing those old ways, and providing the support to the visionaries, whether that was through our ancestors who passed it down through visionaries like Nickole and the entire culture department, reintroducing those ways prior to contact, the foods that we sustained ourselves with, and then the foods that were introduced that caused such devastation.
Yeah, and I understand diabetes is a real issue, and you're pretty passionate about that, right, Nickole?
Yes. We lost a lot of elders due to a poor diet, and it had resulted in a host of different conditions, including diabetes. And after serving as an elder specialist and going through those deaths, I resigned from that position for a year. I took a whole year off. Mm-hmm. I went into intensive therapy, and I came out, and that was during COVID, and I was seeing myself on social media actually doing recipes and showing people how to cook and different things like that. And then this position came open, and it was like throughout my experience with the tribe and dealing with food and dealing with those deaths, mm-hmm. I wanted to be hands-on in that change. I wanted to promote change, and that's my initiative, that's my goal, that's everything. And dealing with my mom's own health scare earlier mm-hmm. this year, we assume that she's eating good and having 3 meals a day, but she's still in that mindset of the poor man's diet mm-hmm. and been handed down different recipes and things that are not indigenous to us. That includes flour and those oils, and she was able to kind of change her course, her diet. We started pre-planning her meals, and within a couple months she was totally off all her diabetes medicine. And just with that, it was like, we have the power to change people's mindsets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so happy to hear that about your mom. This can be such a heavy topic sometimes to talk about, but what I really appreciate about the work that you are doing is you're elevating that conversation in really engaging ways with some of the videos that you've created to share with some of your younger generations, maybe even people outside your community. Can you talk with me, Nickole, a bit about those videos and kind of what you're showing to folks?
So what I'm showing is how to use different things and not these foreign products. And we can wipe out diabetes, we can wipe out cardiovascular problems, we can wipe out all kinds of different things.
And I know you said sugar's a big one, and you do have a really powerful video about maple syrup. Dorie, can you tell me about what that's called and really how it came about?
The Potawatomi translation for maple syrup is zisbakwet. It is the sugary or sweet substance that runs from the trees, and that is typically processed. It depends on the temperature. It can be a lot trickier in Michigan. It has to be a certain temperature for so many nights, and we typically do a ceremony in February, and then we collect the sap. There's community members that volunteer, our tribal youth program is involved, and then we have dedicated staff for it. We have a system on the reservation. The sap is collected and then boiled down into the final product. And then we also celebrate by having an event called Flapjack Friday, where we share, flapjacks and try to incorporate some healthier version of food there. Also, we share the zisbakwet or the maple syrup with our surrounding communities also, as well as our tribal members.
I think it's always fun to see how things are made, but I really appreciate the way that you've taken time to highlight the cultural traditions and the culinary practices with it. I'd love to hear from both of you just what you hope to see in the future with your tribe, and really how far this food sovereignty initiative is going to go.
I think it's going to go very far. This is just the beginning, and it's so important because one elder who has since walked on, she repeatedly told me, don't forget the old ways, and that is our original ways. And I hope that I haven't forgotten that, and I'll continue on that mission as long as I can and pass it down to those that are younger than I am, and hopefully that vision continues.
And for you, Nickole?
She's so wise.
She said pass it down to others, and she kind of did.
Yeah, I did
I
too.
think you're getting the baton afterwards.
But everything that I've done or have learned, I owe it all to my older sister. Her number one fear is that people won't pass it down and won't get the old ways. But I just want her to know that I'm doing it not only for her, but for my mom that actually lived on a reservation, that we do pay attention, and those little ones do pay attention, and that shouldn't be your biggest worry.
Absolutely. Well, you guys are doing amazing work. I know your community is really proud and just excited for all of the movement that's been happening. And like you said, we learn more every single day. And so if you would like to continue to learn more, be sure to follow the Nottawasepi Huron Band of the Potawatomi with this info on screen. You can find also this mutually inclusive episode and others on our website and YouTube page, but please don't forget to follow on social media to be connected to the latest and greatest news and community events here in West Michigan. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week here on Mutually Inclusive.